If you feel your attention span isn't what it used to be, you're not imagining it. Many Gen X adults describe a subtle but persistent change in how their mind feels during the day, and I've noticed this myself. Concentration can feel harder to maintain. Reading a long article may require a little bit more effort. Multitasking feels like it's more draining than it once was. Even relaxing can feel strangely difficult. Instead of feeling mentally refreshed, many people often feel mentally crowded. On today's episode, we're going to take a look at how technology is affecting our ability to focus and what we can do about it. I'm Jay, and this is Somnilipod. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I am so glad that you decided to spend a little bit of time with me today. Now, I'm going to list some things that I think might be a little familiar to you. See if you've experienced any of this stuff. Difficulty maintaining focus on reading or in a conversation. Feeling pulled to check devices frequently. Reduced tolerance for boredom. Feeling mentally tired but still stimulated. Increased forgetfulness. Feeling overwhelmed by small decisions. Difficulty relaxing without background input. Now, if some of these things are familiar to you, you're not broken, I promise. A common assumption is that these are just simply part of aging, but that explanation is a little incomplete. The modern world exposes the brain to far more information each day than people experienced prior to the digital era. Text messages, streaming platforms, social media feeds, news alerts, work message systems all create a steady stream of incoming signals that compete for our attention. The midlife brain isn't failing, it's adapting to an unprecedented level of stimulation. The challenge is that the brain was never designed to operate in a constant state of digital input. Now, understanding how attention works biologically helps explain why digital overload can make focus feel more difficult. Human attention evolved in environments where important information appeared relatively infrequently. A sound in the distance might signal danger. A change in the weather might influence your survival. Conversations carried meaning and required full engagement. Information arrived slowly enough for the brain to process it thoroughly. Today, the brain encounters dozens of alerts and messages and headlines and updates every hour. When a notification appears, the brain automatically evaluates it. Is this important? Do I need to respond? Should I remember this? This automatic evaluation is part of what neuroscientists call the orienting response. It's a normal mechanism that helps humans detect potentially meaningful changes in their environment. Even when the information is trivial, the brain still uses energy to assess it. Repeated small interruptions can contribute to cognitive fatigue over time. Gen X occupies a unique position in technological history. This generation remembers a time before smartphones, before constant connectivity, and before information flowed continuously throughout the day. At the same time, Gen X is now deeply embedded in digital systems required for work, communication, healthcare, finances, and social connection. Responsibility levels are often high in midlife, as we've discussed in previous episodes. Career demands may peak, financial pressures may increase. Many individuals support both children and aging parents. Health concerns may begin to require more attention. When continuous digital input is layered on top of these responsibilities, the brain may have fewer opportunities to experience true downtime. Even leisure activities have become cognitively demanding. For example, streaming platforms present endless viewing choices. Online shopping offers thousands of options for simple purchases. Social media delivers continuous novelty. Research on decision fatigue suggests that repeated decision making can reduce mental energy available for later tasks. By evening, many people feel mentally depleted, but not necessarily physically tired. This creates the familiar experience of feeling exhausted, yet still drawn to do something with your screen. Many digital platforms are intentionally designed to encourage repeated engagement. Behavioral science has long shown that unpredictable rewards increase habit formation. Can you talk about gambling addiction for a minute? I do love a slot machine, but this is that type of reward system. When the brain anticipates something potentially interesting, a message, an update, or a new piece of information, motivation pathways involving dopamine become alert and active. Dopamine is not simply a pleasure chemical. It plays an important role in motivation, anticipation, and learning. Variable reward patterns like that can make checking behavior more likely to repeat. Over time, the brain can become accustomed to rapid shifts in attention. Short bursts of novelty begin to feel normal. Slower activities such as reading and reflection or meditation or sustained concentration may feel less stimulating by comparison. And this doesn't mean that the brain is damaged. It just means that the brain is adapted to a faster rhythm of information. Now, the challenge is that meaningful work, emotional processing, creativity, and recovery typically occur at a slower pace. Exposure to continuous information keeps the brain in an alert state. When the mind receives constant input throughout the day, it has fewer opportunities to process experiences. Sleep plays an essential role in organizing memories and regulating those emotional responses and supporting brain maintenance process. Research suggests that deep sleep supports the lymphatic system, which helps clear metabolic waste products from brain tissue. When digital stimulation continues into the evening, the brain may remain in an activated state. Blue light emitted from screens, and you've probably heard this, I know we've talked about it a time or two, has been shown to delay the natural evening rise of melatonin. It's a hormone that supports sleep timing. Emotionally stimulating content, such as news and social media interactions, can activate your stress pathways that make it more difficult to relax. Many individuals go to bed feeling mentally overstimulated, but physically tired. This combination can interfere with both falling to sleep and staying asleep. Poor sleep can then reduce cognitive resilience the following day, making the brain more vulnerable to distraction. A cycle can develop in which digital overstimulation and sleep disruption reinforce each other. The brain benefits from periods of lower stimulation. Research on the brain's default mode network suggests that quiet wakefulness supports memory consolidation, reflection, and creative problem solving. Mental downtime allows neural networks associated with emotional regulation and insight to function more effectively. Importantly, downtime does not require doing nothing. Activities that reduce cognitive load, such as walking, quiet conversation, reading, or spending time in natural environments, can support mental recovery. The brain often performs important background processing when attention is not actively directed toward incoming information. Moments of quiet can help restore the ability to sustain attention. Now, technology offers extraordinary advantages. It allows communication across distance, rapid access to information, and incredible tools for productivity and creativity. The goal is not elimination of technology. The goal is balance. The brain functions best when stimulation and recovery exist in rhythm. Periods of engagement benefit from being balanced with periods of reduced input. Some practical adjustments that we can do may include single tasking when possible. We all have, well, most of us have smartphones, and we all have timers on those phones. A simple method to help focus is to set a specific amount of time, say 10 minutes, and then start working on one individual task and only one task. When the timer is up, evaluate if you feel ready to continue with that task. Set the timer and continue again, or switch to a different task. Increasing the length of the timer as you progress, and watch your focus and your productivity soar. Creating device-free periods during the day is a tough one, and if you're like me, you have trouble keeping your hands off your phone. A simple solution? Put it away. In a drawer, in the other room. Turn it off, maybe? Device-free periods during the day will allow your brain the bit of respite it needs to begin breaking the cycle of device dependency. Also, reducing rapid-fire content exposure before bedtime. Have you ever counted the number of Instagram posts you look at in a 10-minute period? Rapid short-form content is how they make money. So the more you see, the longer you engage, the more they benefit. But do you think your brain really needs to see 50 to 100 TikToks in 10 minutes? That's how many, by the way. It really doesn't. Pick up a book instead. Remember magazines? Find one you like and leisurely peruse it before bed instead of logging on. Sometimes the most effective way to restore clarity is not to add more stimulation, but to allow the mind space to process what is already there. Your attention span will thank you. I hope this has been interesting for you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, reach out to me. You can touch base with me at j@somnillapod.com. You can also hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. As a caveat, I am beginning to merge a lot more toward YouTube. I find that I can add different types of content there a little more easily. So if you have the opportunity and the ability to start listening to these episodes through the YouTube platform, please do that. You can like and subscribe to the channel, and you'll get notifications when new episodes or new content drops. So until we talk again, please remember to make sleep a priority. Thanks so much.